Welcome to this special Friday episode of the Navs Effect podcast. I am your host, Naveen Ganglani. Apologies for those who are expecting an episode last Wednesday. The last week has been rather busy given my new role at All Star Magazine and what we're trying to do there, but we're back with an interesting one for Friday's special. Someone who's been on the podcast before, Anthony Brodett, the owner and head of Phenom Championship Clinic and also Phenom Sports Management, now joins us to talk about development of basketball, particularly what might stunt the growth of some of the Filipino players here in the country, and maybe to some degree those who look to work abroad and come here as well. So Brody's been in the industry for a while now, so he's got a wealth of experience, I would have to say, and he can give good insight, and he has given me good insight in the past. So Brody, we were having this discussion a few days ago over text, and I figured it would be nice to talk about it into detail because there are many aspects behind the scenes that people don't realize that derail a promising basketball career for those who grow up here in particular, right? So
Yeah,
for you, what are the
yeah.
immediate ones that when you see it, your first thought is that's a red flag?
Well, you have to understand what's where do we come from? We love basketball. It's a country that loves basketball, but somehow, some way, basketball tends not to love us back into the international scenes. But if it's like locally, yeah, everywhere you look, it's basketball. You know, with the development right now, it's tricky nowadays because of social media and all that. Sometimes with development, you don't know what's what anymore. Sometimes because development sometimes it's boring to people. When I say development, it's like building the foundations, um, building bottom up, But nowadays it's just like what's more important nowadays is who's popular, who has a lot of following, regardless of you get me though. You kind of get the whole thing though, right?
Yeah,
So
for sure.
kids now tend to be confused. Either be get better or get popular.
Oh, okay.
You get me though, right?
I get you.
Because
So they're worried
yeah,
about their fits, they're worried about who's liking their posts, they're worried about their highlights. That's what you're saying.
yeah, yes. Because right now it's a social media age, so everyone's really kind of a slave for likes, comments, and attention. You know, and sometimes to get that, people aren't that patient with it, so they cut corners. So it's like there's like every like right now, every corner there's a skills coach that's popping up,
Hmm.
or every corner there's a SNC dude or a coach wannabe that wants to pop up right away. But did they do the work? Years understudy, doing it for free? I doubt. You know, I'm not trying to put pour down on anyone's parade, but because I did it for free. You know, I did it for free. I pour in 16, 17 years now. But the thing is, with going back to development of players, it's tricky now because there's a lot of avenues. But the thing is, it's quantity now over quality.
Mm.
You know.
So I was listening to the podcast of Carmelo Anthony a few days ago, an old episode, and he
Yeah.
had Chauncey Billups on as a guest. And for those who don't know, the OGs know Chauncey Billups was a great player,
Yeah.
solid defender,
Detroit.
great
Detroit.
shooter,
Detroit.
finals MVP of that '04 Pistons team that beat the
Yeah.
Lakers. But so Chauncey, who's now a head coach for Portland in the NBA, was
Hmm.
saying that his team at one point in one game went into the halftime break and they were down by 18 points. Okay.
Yeah.
And literally at the halftime break in the locker room, one of his players reposted like a story of a highlight dunk that he had down 18 and immediately picked up his phone. So as a reporter, I try to see both sides of it, why it's the case. I think to some
Yeah.
degree it's because a lot of the young players now just grow up in the generation where phones and social media exist
Yeah,
compared to
yeah,
a lot of the people who are like 25 and over, maybe 28 and over now, who they still
yeah,
remember the time when social media and phones weren't such a big part of life,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So, have you seen a similar situation like that here with local guys where they're supposed to be working out, they're supposed to be training, but instead they're just on their phones waiting for a reply, waiting for someone to post a highlight of them or something like that?
Because the thing is, you have to understand right now, extra work's not popular. Doing because everybody wants attention. Everybody wants to be watching something. They want to be watched. Doing the things on unseen hours, doing the things on nobody knows, or it's just you in the gym by yourself, or or you working out with your skills coaches and all that on unseen hours. You're not posting about it. That there's a little percentage of that still happening, just a little bit, because everyone's just like leaning towards being seen, putting the work. But the thing is, you don't even know if those are fake workouts. When I say fake workouts, you tend to post it, but you just do it that day, but you don't even repeat it anymore. You get me though, right?
Like, so you're
So
saying that
so it's
their workouts are just for the social media videos,
exactly exactly.
but
So
you know,
because if you're
shouldn't
really
that
working out,
motivate them? Shouldn't that motivate them that if we have
but
people who
the
can
thing is,
video, we should do it more often?
yeah, but the thing is, here's the trick though about it. Some guys are real with it, and most guys aren't.
Okay.
Most guys would wait for a contract to be cut or to be cut on a team before they move their butts.
Oh, so like with
You
nothing to
get me though,
lose.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you have. Sorry for the words, but the shit has to hit the fan first before everybody knows it's serious already. You get
Okay.
me though.
Okay.
So,
Well,
so
yeah.
we're
I
go go. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
No, no, no. I meant I was just gonna add that. So you're saying a lot of the people who end up being lazy or try not to work out, try not to have extra ambition, are those who once they get some form of security, they just decide to give in. That
Yeah, just
happens
chill.
often.
With us right now in this platform that we have right now in basketball. Why do you think there's no NBA players from the Philippines?
Proper nutrition is lacking, proper working out. Like
Yeah,
what do
but
you think's the reason?
because people are more focused on just cashing in checks than dreaming
And
more.
what happens when they get those checks? Do some of them extend their
But the thing
investments?
is, it's not
Eh,
also their fault, bro. Because it's life. It's like sometimes like I'm okay here. I'm earning a little bit. I'm good. But the thing is, sometimes comfort. Comfort is a big hurdle. You get me though, right? Sometimes to your dreams. Once you're comfortable, you're like you kind of stop dreaming or putting in the work. You get me though, right?
So once you taste that sushi, you just never go back,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
big of a factor? Okay, I want you to draw back and look in your experience dealing with players. How many times, based on your 17 years being around, have you seen players' careers derailed by people close to them? Family members, best friends, partners,
I
etc.,
I
business
see I see
partners?
I see it every day because I'm dealing with a lot of players, a lot of different situations, and you are the company you keep.
Mm.
If they don't understand what is your job or what is your um focus right now, they have no business being around you. Because it's either you're all in one team. You can't be like, oh, you're going out. Oh, you're going out to go to the gym. Oh, you're going out to see girls. Bro, you got to have somebody who supports you, understands the whole situation of how to be a player. And the partners or the parents should understand that as well because these are kids, these are young men, that need support. And with all great athletes, the number one factor that makes them and makes them succeed is the support system.
Do you train
You
or have you
know,
trained women's ballers as well? Or do you help manage
um,
women's players as well?
With the women, I'm not really in the circles, but I've been with coaches that's been with women's basketball. I've been around coaches also.
So let's say the issues about partners for the male players, it also happens to the women's players.
Yeah, of course, of course. I think it's, it has no gender. Like, you don't have to have a bad situation or a bad person to be a distraction. A distraction is a distraction, regardless of who and how it is.
Give
Like I
me an
always tell
ex
my players.
Give me an
Yeah,
example of
go
a
ahead.
situation where a bad relationship absolutely wrecks someone's career. Have you seen something like that?
Um,
You don't need
my
to name
personal,
names.
yeah, I know, but it was just making me smirk. But yeah, I've seen, relationships, go haywire, and of course, it mentally affects you, your game, your practice, and your performance. Because of course, when you're an athlete, when you go home, you want peace. That's the
Yeah.
that's the time for you to recover. You can't have drama. You can't have headaches. You
Competition.
can't have yeah. You can't do that because you're you're working out. You're practicing. And it's like dealing with also social media right now is difficult because there's a facade. There's a marketing thing that you have to keep up with. And that right there's pressure already because
You're
everything's on you. You
basically
want
branding yourself, right?
Yeah, exactly. So if you mess up one thing, it's all over the news. They're more focused on the negative stuff. So you really have to be like, like squeaky clean with it.
Now, a lot of the college players in particular, the high school guys, and even sometimes those who just enter the pros, the rookies, the second
Yeah.
year guys, they're like teenagers, early adults. Like even when you're in your early 20s, you have no idea what the hell's going on. At least for me, man.
Oh yeah.
When I started
Yeah.
working in my early 20s, those first few years, like what the hell is this, right? I mean, so
Yeah.
there's so many aspects of it. There's social, there's personal, your
hmm
relationships. Like,
And
when
there's
you
the peer pressure.
peer
Peer pressure. You
pressure,
have that.
fa- family pressure, pressure when you have,
Yeah.
like for example, you do brand deals and they're like, okay, submit this video at this point, right?
Yeah.
We'll give you
Yeah.
this much. And we won't go into it, but Sponky is also something that happens, in this
Jesus
country,
Christ. Yeah.
right? Right. And we can't
Yes.
deny that.
Yes.
I
Of
mean,
course. Of course.
of
Of
course,
course.
right?
It happens left and right. It's
So,
not gonna die down
yeah.
anytime soon.
Exactly. So,
Mm.
given everything, let's say there's a 17, 18-year-old boy and he's figuring out or she's figuring out what the hell is happening at life. How do I complete my assignments?
Yeah.
How do I
Yeah.
graduate with a degree? How do I visit my, family when it's someone's birthday in the province over the weekend? How do I train 4 hours a day? How do I take all this mental scolding? I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot for anyone, diba?
Oh,
But
yeah, yeah.
how do you advise your players to deal with all of it? Is
Well,
there a secret
first,
recipe?
no. It's because my relationship with my players is built on trust. So if it's built on trust, it's I can speak to them in a way that even if it hurts, they know it's for their best interests. You know.
You
So
give them the
sometimes I
hard
gotta sit
truth.
there. No, no, there's no other way. You have even how hard or how heartless sometimes it sounds, but the thing is, it's better to live in a reality of what's real in front of you than I'll ride I'll ride a merry-go-round with you and tell you everything's gonna be okay. You have to be honest with them. You
Right.
have to, even though it's hard to hear or it's not good to hear. You gotta tell them the truth of what's gonna happen. And at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, it's their lives. And the more you're honest with them, the more, of course, there's resistance. Of course, there's always resistance in telling the truth. It's sometimes they're denial pa, or oh, I'm working out naman. It's like, you're working out, but because if you're working out, it would show, regardless of what you tell me. You get me though, right?
Yeah, I get you. I was just thinking now though, what is the most brutally honest thing you've ever had to tell a player?
That is not good.
But he's just not good enough to make it.
Not he's not good, but the thing is he can be, and it's up to him. It's not up to me. It's not up to you or whoever. It's up to him how far he wants to take it. But if he's not going to put in the work, why even bother?
Correct.
The only person can tell themselves like they're the only person that can tell that they're not good enough is themselves. If they want to like go through a brick wall and go apeshit and crazy, yes, they can make it. But the thing is, if they're gonna have the wrong reasons for doing it, they're bound to fail. Because some players right now, they don't want to be players. They just want to be known.
Sikat. Gusto nila maging sikat,
Gusto nila
basically.
sikat, but they don't want to put in the work, the extra work, and all that. SNC, extra skills. They don't like that. That's why we're here where we're at because we like follows, we like popularity, we like blowing smoke up each other's butts and sniffing it and saying everybody we're good. We're, no, we're not good. We're far from it. We're so far from it.
So how do we get
Everybody's
back? How do we get back? What's the
well.
solution? Turn off the social media and just
No, it's not that. It's like you have to focus on the youth. You have to keep educating them. You have to tell them what's the reality of things. Because sometimes right now it's like everybody in social media to say it's so easy to get this and to get that. I'm not gonna name names. Going to the NBA and all that, bro. Do those barangay guys really know what they're talking about going in the NBA? Because one dude just dunks on Panalay. Oh, it's good for the NBA, bro. Are you nuts? Are you
Those are
nuts? You
ginulat
get
ang
me?
mundo.
You get me though, right? Like
I get you, yeah.
makadakdak lang dito, medyo may height ng konti, pwede na mag-NBA. Are you nuts? You know how much hard work those kids right when they're born right away, they're in there. The commitment's there if they want to do it. Like 4 or 5 years old, 6 years old, they're doing a lot of stuff that our kids are even doing it right now. You
No,
know?
no, I get that, but it also got me thinking. There must be situations where a kid in this example, a teenager, he does all
Yeah.
the work, he puts it
Hmm.
in, he clocks in early, he clocks out late, he stays
Yeah.
off the drama, he stays off the alcohol and the other stuff that could derail a career. But minamalasan lang talaga minsan eh. It could be
Well, well,
injuries, it could
well.
be bad situations. You think those are
I
avoidable
have
because
a certain
sometimes
player.
they're
I won't.
not
I won't.
available.
Yeah.
Okay, go, yeah.
No, 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 no. Because with those kind of players that put in the work and all that, it's sometimes it's a twist of fate. It's just not in the cards for them. But the thing is, they're there. I have a couple of players who are really, really good, really good. But the thing is, when they're about to be lined up, they get injured, or or may paborito, may bata system na line up na isang bata over them. So, those factors also affect, you know, um, those kids too. Like, pero syempre, again, one way or another, there's always someone watching. Sometimes borderline, you're gonna quit already that someone was watching you, you know? Then something good happens, you lined up and you start balling out and everybody knows you.
If I
You'll
had
never know. You'll know.
if I had to make you rate 1 to 5, how much politics are there in college basketball? What would your answer be?
15 out of 10.
Damn, that much, huh?
Yes. But again, if you're good, you're good. It's gonna overshadow everything.
But how about for those who aren't super good? That's where the politics get involved.
Well, it depends. It really depends. It's not for everybody. That's what I always say. I have to be real with it. It's not for everybody. It's like showbiz and politics here. We are in a country who what's important is who you know than what you know.
Mm.
So
And that's in basketball too.
that's bro. It's in everywhere. You know,
So if
even
you could fix something, I'll let you finish in a bit. But if you could fix something about it, what would be the first thing you'd want fixed about the system
like,
when it comes to basketball?
well, it's a dream though. Like, it's impossible. It's really impossible because fairness, it's out the window. You get me though, right?
Right. Okay.
So so these are the cards we're dealt with. But the thing is, if even these are the cards we dealt with, and somehow we still make it, that's one tough kid, bro. That's one tough kid. Even the cards are stacked against you, and you still make it. Hmm. That kid has character. The kid deserves to be there. You know, it's not easy. It's not for everybody. It's not easy. Believe me, bro. I know. I've seen kids try their hardest. I've seen kids break down. I've seen kids get hurt and come back. I've seen kids get hurt and don't come back because it's not just putting a ball in a hoop. You have to deal with other players. You have to deal with circumstances that's beyond your control. You have to deal with things that you don't understand. Even the Phil foreign guys, when they get here, they're mind boggled of how things work out here. That's why my only advice to them is when you get here from you leave what you know there. Because
Mm.
this is a whole
Good
new
advice.
circus. There's a whole new circus, and you don't know what you're gonna get. You know?
How important or how much significance do you put on academics? Do you emphasize it as strong as possible?
Yes, as much as possible, you really have to have a backup plan. An average year of a pro player is around 7 to 10 years, and
That's
that's
for a
lucky
good
already.
pro player. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So what do you do after? Be a coach or be in? It's a good thing, but the thing is, would you rather do something that's in business or a medical practice, or you get me though, right? Because it's common knowledge now. It's like when you're a player, I'll just be a coach. It's like it's kind of it's like it's gonna happen already. Why don't you just be a businessman, be a doctor, be a nurse, after playing ball? That's why you really need that diploma. You really need to put study and all that. You have to. You have to.
So what do you do when a player comes up to you and he or she is like, I really want to go to class, but sobrang nakakapagod ang haba ng training namin. We have SNC, we have extra training. Like, hindi kaya. My body can't take it. My mind can't take it. Like, how do you respond to that?
Well, it's a life of a student athlete. You're blessed in most. You have a scholarship. Make do it. Make do with it. You know, put it first. Not everybody how many kids try out for a scholarship because they can't afford to go to school.
That's true.
There's
So
a
true.
there's a lot of kids. So you're because the thing is sometimes we tend to look at others. We tend to compare, but we tend to forget what we have. Sometimes our blessings already that other people pray for. You get me though, right? So
Absolutely.
so instead of like looking and comparing and what you don't have, look at what you have. Because that mindset would change things.
So
It's all
that's,
with
yeah,
with going back to it with basketball in anything in general in life. It's how you look at situations because it's not always going to be a good situation. It's how you look at it. It's how you react to it. Because your situation is your situation regardless. It's beyond your control. But it's your reactions towards it. Would define how you deal with things.
what are some of the other unique challenges that take place in the development process that people might not immediately figure out or
Well,
realize?
well, the most common one, like the most common one is people, kids, and sometimes parents. They tend to fast forward things.
Okay.
They jumpstart growth. They think they know growth when you have to let it happen by itself. You're too. It's like you're in grade 4 or 5, and your parents already thinking about, oh, what college is gonna go. Nah, dude, just let him play, let him enjoy, let him learn, let him have his mistakes. Because sometimes parents get so excited when they see their kid doing well than most, you know, then they start flicker a plan in their head of how they're gonna go. And if they don't go it, the kid feels this kind of pressure that he's failing or she's failing, you know.
Correct. Very true. Very true. How difficult is it to deal with parents, especially ambitious parents?
Well, you have to, like I said, you have to be real with them also. And the thing is, with I'm a recruiter, the first thing I do look at is the parents when I'm recruiting kids, because from there you could see the values, the character, where the kids' environment's coming from, and you'll know right away. You'll know right away. Dealing with parents sometimes is I'm lucky because most of the parents I'm dealing with are you know good people. You know, some are just like really really upfront, but they're good people I'm dealing with. But it's not the case with everybody. You know, means then you put so much pressure on the shoulders of the kid that even your future you put it on his, which is unfair.
True.
You know,
So,
yeah, those are
some parents are really after the money.
well. You can't say that, but the thing is, not everybody. Not it's not that. It's just like, of course, we always dream to have a better better outlook in life and better situations for especially those ones who are coming from the province or coming from overseas, trying to make a difference. But the thing is, minsan talaga, it gravitates towards what they need. And sometimes what they need is money, of course.
Do you like or dislike how player movement has grown in college basketball?
To me right now, it's evolving from the days of the Kiefer Ravenas, the Ray Parks to now. It evolved a lot. It evolved a lot, and and the thing is, with the rules that's being set, I have no problem with it. But the thing is, you know, it's I don't know how to say this without offending anyone, but the thing is, it's the idea of people. It's the idea of people wanting to have control of the situation, but they know they can't. You get me?
I get
With the
that.
transferees, they want to have that idea and show the public that, oh, we can control this. Honey, you can't control nothing. That's the reality of things.
So the schools and the managers still do most of the controlling.
No, it depends now. The power now is with the kid. So where he sit, where he feels or she feels he'll blossom, he'll go there. Before Kase, it was with the school. The powers were in the school, like, oh, we're not gonna give you the scholarship or whatever it is. But then now kids are starting to realize they have a choice. They have a choice and they can choose what suits them well or what's for their future. When I say future, it's not always cash or money. It's getting that education. It's getting that not that edge over everybody else. You know, it's because people here they tend always to talk pera 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 pera, bro. Yung
But
pera pera lang, hindi lahat punta.
would you say the power is with the player so much now that if a player decides to leave a school one day, he can be
Mhm.
confident in finding a new school right away? Or is that still heavily dependent on the talent of the player?
It's heavily dependent on the talent of the player. Yeah, I have to be real with that one. You can't have the power if you don't have the talent.
That's true. Because let's say, okay, theoretically, as a pure example, let's say if Kevin Kimbao, after he won a championship with LaSalle, let's say sinabi niya, you know what, try ko nga mag-champion with another school, para two championships with two different schools. Then that's when he can be confident he'll find another school because he was the MVP, right?
Of
But
course, of course.
the 10th guy on the bench, I mean, is his mindset supposed to be, I need to cling on to this position as hard as I can because I probably am out if I don't, you know, perform here? I'm out of college
That,
basketball overall?
that's the sad reality of basketball. Not everybody in the team can produce because you can only play five guys.
Mm,
Someone who has
true.
always someone will always sit down, and especially if you come to a program that the coach is not in sync of what with what you want, you're dead. Your program's dead. Your lifeline's dead right away. So before you go to a school, you really have to know what you're getting into. Ask questions, ask this, what's your plan for me? That's why it's always supposed to be like that. You can't just go because you want to go to that school. Because there's a saying, like Chat said, um, go to where they need you, not they want you.
Right. Right. Correct.
Because when they need you, they know already what they're getting and they know there's a plan set up already. If they want you, you're just one of the guys.
But when they need you, you're essential to everything.
You're part of the plan of where the program wants to go.
That's very true. Let's say that someone was hired to be the head coach of a team, and this has
Right.
happened to you. I'm sure coaches have turned to you for advice and opinions many times before and more times in the future. But say a coach went to you and asked you, "What's the first thing I have to do to make sure I'm in sync with the team and the program?" What's the answer to that question?
The first thing you have to do, clear everything out.
Clear
When I
everything
say
out,
clear,
meaning, yeah.
clear everything out. Like their past issues with the school, their program. You don't need to hear none of that. Because what's important is what you're gonna say, which is my program. Here's how we're gonna take you from A to B. You don't have to talk about the past. You don't have to talk about who was sitting who and who was playing who. You focus right now when you step in there and show your plan and move forward. Basically, that's it.
From all the coaches we have in the UAP and the NCAA, who would you say is the best recruiter amongst them?
Head coach,
Best recruiting head coach, yeah.
they're all my friends, kaso lang mahirap magsalita.
Okay,
But
okay.
but 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 but, but I think
Yeah.
I'll say it naman. Mostly lahat naman sila. Kumbaga, you're in a position to do that job, and those institutions picked you for a reason to do those jobs, and but something that comes to my mind, of course, the reigning champions, Goldman knows how to recruit since me and him, we would always recruit against each other when we were in high school. I was recruiting for LaSalle Green Hills. He was recruiting for Adamson in Shanghai. Then to transfer to NU and all that, but we're still recruiting against each other. Um, he's a good. He knows his talent. He knows everything. Coach T, when he started with, even with Lyceum, he also knew how to recruit. CJ, you get me though, right? So, but I hope the longest that I've been with is Jeff Napa,
Mm,
because Jeff tends to recruit, but he recruits to develop. That's the
I
difference. Because
see.
it's easy to get a guy who's really good already, but to have the foresight to be good, that's different. So he had to adjust with his situation right now. He knows he couldn't get the really big names, but he would get the names that he knows that he can work with. You know, yeah.
That's
Even
true.
Coach Alan Ricard is the same thing. He
That's
knows he
true
can't get the
also.
big names, but the thing is, he's gonna get the guys that he can rise up a niche. Like make him better, then go towards it. You know, Coach Charles also recruits. He knows what he's doing. Most basically everybody knows what they're doing. It's a big responsibility to have those jobs in those institutions. You know,
Have you ever come across
yeah.
a coach that just absolutely was horrible at recruiting, that could not do it and could not recruit?
Yes.
And what would happen in situations like that? Say they were in a room with the parents and the kid. Like, is there like nightmarish situations?
That coach is more concerned about him than the kids.
Basically, it comes
I
down
can
to
even
that.
I can even tell you who he is right now.
Okay, do you want to tell
I'm not
us?
I'm not afraid. The one that Topix replaced,
Oh, you're talking about
right?
Coach Derek.
He's more concerned about doing the swaggy thing than actually players, his actual players.
Was that a time where Phenom was not sending players to LaSalle yet?
Well, we were sending players there. We were sending players there. We were sending players there. It's not. It wasn't the program, and the management wasn't the problem.
Hmm.
I'm not afraid to fucking call out people. It is what it is. There's a
Can you
reason you
ha-
don't have the job now.
can you have a career in sports in the Philippines being 100% upfront about everything you feel? Would you say that you are that person, or there was a time that even you had to think
I kind of
about
mellowed down.
what it
I
you
kind of
mellow
mellowed
down?
down now. Yeah, but there was a time that even my former boss would tell me, you know, I was hot. I call it out. I call what I see. But the thing is, it's good and it's bad. It's good and it's bad. But the thing is, life is short, bro. Life is so short. Like my mother just passed away 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, and it makes you realize: do you want to dance to someone else's tune, or you just want to make your own music? I don't want to dance to someone else's tunes if I don't hear no music.
I see. I,
You
I
know?
I hear you. And also I do want to offer my condolences. I'm so sorry about
Yeah.
your loss.
No,
And
life happens, fam. Life happens, and it's how you deal with it. And the thing is, with me though, the thing is, I'm trying to be authentic as I possibly can. But if I have nothing good to say, I just rather just not say it.
well, let's
You
switch
know?
gears here. Let's talk about Phenom because you have a few players who play for notable programs. I can
Yeah.
name a few top of my head. James Payasing now with UP, Chris
Yeah.
Hubilia with JRU,
Yeah.
um, EJ and Earl obviously with DLSU. I believe you guys are training Mason as well at LaSalle. We have the UST guys, Danting, Michael Mara,
Yeah.
and you just sent Serrano there. You guys at the NCAA, you got them too,
I didn't
Latran
say
and
nobody. They're the one deciding it. Everybody thinks I'm sending people to wherever. I'm
no,
not.
no,
They're
you're
deciding that.
sorry, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I meant they decided where to go. You guided them in the process, basically,
Mm,
like
Yeah.
present the
Mm,
options.
yeah.
So there's also Precious at UE.
Yeah.
Basically, anything else that we should be expecting, or anything else that you think you can share already at this
Well,
point?
I, movement in college basketball is a never-ending thing. That's all I can say. Even before the UAP starts, you'll be surprised of movements. It's never ending. You know.
Mm.
Um, it's always constant, and everything's always permanently temporary. I don't know if you know that. You know the term. Everything's permanently temporary.
I
So
first time I heard
coaches
it, but I
changes,
get it.
but
Yeah.
it's always gonna be changes. There's always gonna be movements. But the thing is, I can assure with my kids, even though sometimes I don't really agree with their decisions, I have to support it because again, I'm just a guide. It's their lives, So if you're asking me, there's movements. I'm just as blind in the dark with you with the movements. But the thing is, when they come up to me and tell them, "Oh, I want to do this," I was like, "Oh, have you weighed your options? The pros and the cons. Have you talked to your parents?" Then after all that, and they're like, I'm firm. I'm trying to move with this. I'm trying to keep moving forward." And I was like, "Okay, I'll support you. No problem." You know.
Absolutely. So, with the college season about to start soon, should we still expect, based if you had to guess, should we still expect anything or medyo set na tayo?
I was giving hints the other day. I was giving hints on the Facebook the other day.
You want to
But
share the hint
we'll
here?
see.
Come on, share the hint here, man. Come on.
We'll see. We'll
It's
see. We'll
already on
see. Because
Facebook, so what is it? Is
no,
this
but the thing is, we'll
is this
see.
about
We'll see. Because sometimes it happens. It goes through. Sometimes it's hints, and it they tend to like overthink the situation and just like, I'll just stay. So like I always say, permanently temporary thing with everybody.
Give me an example of a move, a college basketball transfer that almost happened but did not happen from the past. That when you think about it, if that would have happened, that would have been crazy. I mean, like it could be an example of someone who's no longer in
Okay,
college, so it's
okay.
safe. So we're safe, yeah.
I'll just say it was Precious Momoway,
Okay.
but I won't say what school. But the thing is, we had to talk about it. And losing years with my players, I would always want them to be playing. I don't want them to be on the abyss of the unknown. You get me though, right?
Residency.
So yeah. So the thing is, you don't know what's going to happen. Especially, you don't know what viruses could come again and hinder
New
hinder
coaches.
life, or hinder life as we know it. Stop basketball again. So I'm kind of leaning towards all my kids grab what they can, secure. When I say secure themselves, secure them in the career wise, not money wise. Because when you have your career and your education, money comes after that. So when I say secure themselves, secure them in a specific position with them having the high ground, which is protecting themselves. You know.
So Precious nearly left UE, but decided to stay with UE.
Yes, because it's more beneficial for him going the long run. Because and again, I'm not trying. I know me and Phenom, and there's a rivalry with Phil Ammunition, and Coach Chris Gavina also coach, and Coach Alex is there. But the thing is, it's rivalry. You throw it out the window for the kid's future. You always have to put the kids first. And I had no problems with Coach Chris coaching because he's doing a good job. Evolving these kids, making them developing them in the right way. Alex is there too to share knowledge to these kids. Why would I touch a good thing? Why would I mess up a good thing?
Got you, got you. Well, Brody, man, I really appreciate the time you shared tonight. Happy you came on the podcast and
Thank
happy to
you.
have this conversation. I feel like we tackled a lot of things, and you're always welcome to come back, man.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Thank you for your time, bro. Appreciate you as
See you around, bro.
always. All right.